Let's clean it up for breakfast. What happened in this cylinder is we had a circlip come out, or not put in. Probably came out though. And the pin slid over and hit the bridge. So I'm going to clean the bridge up. But mostly I wanted to see if I can take most of the lip off and attach the spacer to the cylinder and transfer block the inside. So then it'd be a lot easier to be able to spin all those other ones around, you know, and all that. Because set up like that on the spacer, and I want it like that on the spacer. Whoops, can't see that. Point us down. Without the lip. This is just something I'm trying for breakfast. And I'll change out the piston. Here's the one. It's not like really bad, but a little action going on there. That's when the pin came out. So there was a pin in there at one time, because I see them two marks right there. And it slid the pin out, and the pin caught onto. Sure. What's nice about, you know, having a cylinder that you're not worried about losing or anything is I can experiment with it and take the lip off, try and reload the cylinder or piston, and put it back on the other direction and try the pipe. Take it from this to this. But good morning, everybody. I'll see if I can get a question here and pick some questions up. If it comes on. It's kind of early in the morning, 7 o'clock here in beautiful Colorado. Starting to get a chill in the morning already. Winter's coming. Hey, what's up, Dreadnought? Let's hear your message, dude. I get a lot of messages, dude. And when I go to like Facebook and I see that 99 plus, I'm like, eh. And my email's worse. I was talking to a guy in China yesterday on my Facebook that he's starting up a new motor for electric or something. So what's going on, Dread? Ask me here. This is the best place to ask me anything. That's all I'm here for right now. Coffee time. Let's hear your question, Dread. Okay. You have a pipe already to bolt on. Can you hook me up? Cody, man. Cody Reed. He's on my Facebook. He's in Arizona. He made that pipe. He makes everybody's pipe on the like West Coast. East Coast is Steve. Steve makes all the pipes in Florida for all the Floridans. Cody Reed, though, I'll put you a link up to Cody Reed on here, or try to. He does my pipes. He'll do you one for sure. I'm trying to get him to just do me some headers, though. All I really need is a header. I just spilled parts everywhere. All I need is a header that I just connect to here, and I'll spring load it. That's what I want. But yes, I'm going to talk to Cody today. If you send me your information, like your email or any way to get to contact you, I'll get the information over to Cody because I got to talk to him today. Yeah, heck yeah, it would. And he's buying a plasma machine, but you know, he's got kids and wife and everybody that stops him from building all the time. But he's a good welder and he's getting better and better at pipes. I mean, he went all in on pipes about 2 months ago, and he's stopped building and just started making pipes. He's got a gas tank frame though. He's hooking up a gas tank frame, and he wants the 660 on a billet case. That's what he wants. But I'll get you his information, or I'll get you your information to him. Yeah, a header would be a lot cheaper to ship to your country. A pipe, they even charged me $40 to ship a pipe in America, just over one state. He's in Arizona and I'm in Colorado. What's the cheat code for the 400 TS and the 660 squish band? Um, I like to set the timing at 0.6 on this, where there's 0.6 millimeters in between here and there. And then I like to cut an extra 10th off or so in here and get like a 0.75. So for timing, I like 0.6. And then I like to cut it a little bit deeper and go 0.75 on the 400. On the 660, this is going to be my first 660 that I've built. I've done a 460, which is the same size. It's the same size. Same time stud pattern on the 460. I've done on a 460. The difference between a 460 and a 660 is 460 is 52 or 54 millimeters, and a 660 is either 54 or 56 millimeter. They also have a 52, but that's really rare. This one here's got a Husqvarna piston in it, one ring, I believe. I never got around to running it. I'm still working on getting the Husqvarnas to work just right in a Stihl MS chainsaw. The piston height's pretty close. But what's cool about the Husqvarna is the piston is a 1/16 of an inch or so, or a couple millimeters higher on the rooftop of the piston. But there's no cheat code. You just measure it, guys. You just put your silly putty in there. Don't let it fall into the transfers. Don't drop your piston down the bottom dead center with silly putty on it, never. And you just want to push it up on the silly putty like this until it gushes it to a nice pattern, and then just measure it with your caliper. And that's how I do squishy. And then how I figure out how big my spacer is I just put the cylinder on and let it lift up and measure how high it's going to lift up. It's not rocket science. There's not. You could do this on any engine. You just watch the piston. Just watch the piston, and it will tell you everything. It'll either lift all of the cylinder all the way up, meaning you need a spacer, or when you put it at the bottom, there's a giant space at the intake that's supposed to be closed, and that tells you how high up you got to go. Piece of cake though, guys. Almost done with my coffee. Second cup. He never has a second cup. I turned off my notifications so it won't go ding 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 all the time during my show. And I'm supposed to grab the link and tell people when I'm online So I'm just going to jump on my Facebook and tell people I'm online now for their stupid or for their great questions. Not stupid, they're great. Some of them are like, what? Hold on, what? I love questions like that where I'm like, well, hold on, what? um, let's see who wants to join Monster Builders and Super Motorbikes on Facebook. Serge Miner, welcome. Who wants to learn the 660 and the 440? Ken Groupie, that's what that means. Ken and Mark Groupie. Approve. I love doing that. Approve. Okay. Bear with me while I post up that I'm live. And then I'll start with this as soon as my coffee's done. Got like 2 sips. See if I get any more questions. You know, all those toughies. Shared. Hey, Dred, I didn't catch the question. The stock wrist pin that come with the chainsaw cylinder is compatible with the China doll rod. Yes, it is. It's closer to the PK80 than the Zeta on most of the cheaper kits. 10 millimeter on the 49 pin, 12 millimeter on the larger. If it's a 50 millimeter piston and smaller, usually it's a 10 millimeter. If it's 50 millimeter and larger, it's usually a 12 millimeter. Yes, very compatible. Same. I mean, the difference is on a chainsaw and a China doll is this is a China doll and it's either 12 or 14 or 15 length. And on a chainsaw, the 461 uses a uses a 10, 14, 11.5, which is super close to a PK80. And the pins are much better too. They're much larger on a chainsaw. On a chainsaw, the outside is usually 13.9 millimeters and not 14. So it's a little bit smaller, 13.8 on some of them. And that's the difference there. Here's our pin links. China doll and a yeah. Same on the TS400. Yeah. Bear with me, guys. I'm just gonna tell somebody I'm live. He's from Maltese Islands. Telling him I'm live now. He can come ask me on the show. I think it's funny. Some people, I'm like, I'm going to force you to be on the show. I tell that to Drew, who calls me and texts me like all the fucking time. I'm like, I'm going to put you on YouTube. And he's like, no, dude, don't put me on there. And I'm like, yep, I'll put you on there and ask you hard questions. Yes, they're super close in size. They're the same, dude. On the 12, it's this about the same length. It is the same length. It's just 2 millimeters bigger. Hey, welcome, Ivan. How to prep a case so that the cylinder will fit in. That's what I use. I use the Shopsmith Mark V with a 12-inch disc. And if you watch my show yesterday or over the weekend, you'll see I posted up and I'm trying a new design. I took off the lip and have the spacer onto it, so if it works, I'll go out and make people the cylinders, so I don't have to make the whole engine. I can just make the cylinder for them. Okay. But welcome to the show, Ivan. How's where you're at? I still want to go to that country. You want to use a Dremel? I've used a Dremel before, but to surface the thing, you'll have to be on sandpaper or the flattest surface you can get, and you're going to want to get this as perfectly level as possible. And that's why I use a 12-inch disc and the rip fence to do mine, and then I bride it. I just put up 2 videos over the weekend on how to do it. We please more questions. Love the questions. I'll show you what I use the Dremel for. Right now I have to. The pin came out and hit my bridge, so let's hit it. And feel it with your hand. When it's smooth enough for your hand, then the bridge is good again. All better. And some of my smooth out my down transfer block a little bit. I was really impressed at how well it stayed in. This is like a that's how I use my Dremel, and I used my Dremel to do that. What I did was This is where the pin hit, right down here. And I just smoothed it off, or right here. And it's ready to reload again. Just blow it out. Oh, how do you know where the drill holes are going to be drilled? Right there. Or here. This is a base gasket that fits on right, like that. I've started stacking these too. I was so bummed when it didn't work. When I first started making these, I was like, I'll just stack these up freaking 6 millimeters high. That was funny when I tried that. Did it air leak? Yeah, you might say. No, on the case. Oh. Mm-hmm. There you go. Well, okay. When you're drilling your case, and you're trying to pull all your cords out of your laptop, let's go down to. Here's a drilled case. You're trying to get all four onto the case and not one off. See that? I always put the cylinder on, but that was when I had a lip. Now that I don't have a lip, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to line up. Just like that, see? And this, the little clippy clip, that always points to exhaust. The thinner one on all this shit is going to face the intake. This too, the thinner one will always face the intake. Thicker one goes to the exhaust, pointing into the exhaust. What else question do you have on the case? Is that the point you're at right now, Ivan? You're fill and drill right now? Is that where you're at on your project? This is what I use to fill the studs on the original China doll. These are aluminum. I buy 6 for $6.40 on eBay. Cheapest aluminum bolts I've found in the world. I mean, for a while I was paying like $5 each or something crazy like that, $3 or $4 each. But $1 a piece is a deal, man. And each one of these, 2 of these will do 1 case. So you'd screw them in, cut them off like that, cut them off, make it smooth again, and make sure the thread starts, and then you do the other 2. So you'd start out with a long one, cut it off, and then a long one, and then cut it off, and 2 would do 1 case. Think of this packet. There's 6 screws in it. And you got your 400. I was checking it out. Did you split the case, and did you widen the case wide enough yet? Have you split the case yet, Ivan? You want to split the case before you... well, I split the case before I do anything because I want to make sure it's wide enough. And I want to make sure that I got this far enough back to hit all 4 studs. See, the TS400, the 660... all the ones with the bigger stud pattern are going to be harder to get all 4 studs onto the case compared to the 440, the 38. All those have a smaller base. Anything that has a open transfer, it's going to have usually a wide stud spacing. And anything on a round, just a round closed cylinder, is going to have a smaller one, except for the larger pistons like the 660, 460. You split it. How did it go when you split it? Did you have a problem with the magnet, or did you have a problem with the sprocket, or was it hard? Did you break the seal? It wasn't hard. Cool. You had an easy one, and it just split like a melon, huh? That's great. Because sometimes you'll run into like the last case I ran into, I had to break out my table press. I love it when they split and they just come apart. I don't like it when I have to break out the table press. That's cool. You got a good one on the first try. I love that. My coffee's done. I'll set it away. Let's see what I can do with this ZL rod. I like ZLs. Huh. Pins, always find your pins and put them to the intake side. Just going to stick it on and see. Just using an older piston. Just like that. How are you going to widen it? Did you get a drum sander like this to do it, or I always start with one of these? Start it out. And these you can use a Dremel with. You can definitely widen your case out with this, with a sander like that on it. Just keep sanding and always work the back side. If you're putting, this is the front. Always work the back side. If you're putting the exhaust to the front, work the back side. If you're putting the exhaust to the back, work both sides, and it's a hell of a lot easier than all that. But check out the pins, make sure the pins are facing that way. Hey, Dread, if the piston head is too far from the top dead center to make a perfect squish band, does that mean that it will lose a lot of torque? Okay, let me sit down and talk about that. Hey, Dread, your squish is more about, in the beginning, about getting the right timing. I use the squish more as a timing mark than anything else in the beginning, and then I'll just cut it to whatever thickness I want it to be, as long as I don't go past the ring. If you ever cut deeper into your cylinder than the ring and that ring snags, you'll hit the ring of death, and that thing will lock up. It'll snap the rings, or it will lock up, and you're not going to have a good time. There we go. I got them all started except one. All right. There we go. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, if the piston head is too far from the dead center, yeah, use your squish to just set your timing. and 0.6 for your timing. And then you can cut it bigger. I like to cut it to 0.7, 0.75, 0.73, just to give it a little more area. I like a lot of compression, but I don't want too much. How do you find too much compression? Or the compression doesn't match the cylinder. You take the piston up to the height of the transfer and measure the volume of the cylinder from the top of there. That'll give you the volume. Then you divide it by the compression at top dead center. That made sense, hopefully. Hopefully I didn't just confuse the hell out of everybody. How far do you widen it? Easy. That's an easy question. Until you stick this in and it goes all the way on. And it's a nice loose fit. A bunch of them in the beginning, I had a tight fit, and I always go towards the loose side over, find your arrow, over the tight. I like it like that, with the piston and everything. I like that much room. Sorry. I like at least this much room. The first ones I did real tight, and then when you do your 4 studs, it gets really, wacky there. But yes, that tight, and more off the back side. If you're going to do this, try and get all the studs onto the base. Let's see where we're at. Okay, see that? I'm hitting, so all I have to do is mark it where it's hitting and widen the back of the case out. But yeah, I can move it to there. And let's, you guys wanted to know how to do the squish. Let's do a squish test if I can find my silly putty. No silly putty. Got to go to the dollar store. Get some more sillies. Check this out. This is the MZ 44 millimeter stroke with a 56 millimeter piston. I calculate this at 100 and what was it? 103 cc's, right there. They're using MZ's using it. That isn't a motorized bicycle crank, because that has a 13.9 wrist pin hole or a gudgeon pin. And yeah, I do like that they're using the copper. I always like copper onto the rods. It is the lighter one. That's the AF80 crank. I could tell because it's the lighter. It's easy to tell the difference in cranks. It's just weigh them. You weigh this crank, AF80, ZL40. The AF80 is going to weigh lighter than the ZL40. And then the heaviest one is going to be a Runwell crank. If you weigh these cranks, though, it'll tell you what crank they stuck on your bike or your case. The heavier one's the Runwell. So how far do you want to widen it? You want to widen it so it sits on there. A good start is to measure here, and add about 3 millimeters. 2-3 millimeters. But I'm still looking for my silly putty, and I'll get you guys a measurement for the timing. Guess not. The old way was to get a piece of solder. That's how the old timers did it. Piece of solder. And crush it. My old days. Here we go. Have to. Squishy check. Get me a little sneaky snake going. Bring this all the way up. I know that's all the way up. Let's look at your magnet. If your magnet is like that, yo all the way up. Unless your magnet's on backwards, and then we don't want to talk about that. Right there. I mean, whoops, if your magnet's like that, you're all the way up. Meaning that should fire, bam, right there. And the trigger is bam, right there. And then put my snakery in here. Slip her in there. Pokey poke. Raise it up. Gush. Ugh. Did you feel it? Ugh, ugh, ugh. I'm trying not to drop it into the transfers. So I don't like, you know. You're amazed, huh, Dredd? Yeah, wow. Did you just see what he did? He stuck a piece of silly putty inside his engine. Yeah. What? He's a madman. A madman. That's what they talk about on Facebook. Well, other things. Upsy daisies. That's our squish right there. Not a great squish. I like it to go all the way across. Let's get some measurements. That's my squish right now as it sits. That is a good millimeter. It had a bunch of crap in it though. So the crap was making it a little thinner. That's my squish. That's my beginning squish. I cut an extra deep one on this one. The squish is already cut. I also could do it on a one that's not cut yet. So let's do that now. There's a crap load of aluminum in that cylinder. It's going to end up in that case. So this is how I do a squish check. Put it like that, all the way across, like that. And like this. Slide that bitch up. Stick it on there. I like it bolted down for the most accurate way. This is another way to do it. Oh, I don't have a spacer in that one. But that's a tight squish. Without a spacer. There you go. But yes, this one doesn't have a spacer. I forgot about that. So, that plus a 1/16 of an inch. But yes, that's what I do is I do that. In the old days, I used to throw it in the freezer and deep freeze it so I'd get a better measurement off of the two sides. I always like to get the intake measurement side and the exhaust side because the way I cut the squish, it's not perfectly flat. Sure. Two-stroke 0.6 is what he's doing is he's cutting out the part that why 0.6 is so good is because your timing marks are going to be all correct. The height of your transfers and your exhaust, you're not going to have to adjust your blowdown or any of that shit if you do 0.6. He's not telling you why wants you to do 0.6. He's telling you 0.6 so your timing will be all right. Not for it's better for compression or it's better for burn. He's telling you that so your timing to be better. Because 0.6 for timing is so far. I mean, I've tried 0.5 and I've tried 0.7. I like 0.7 on the 440s. I definitely like that. But yeah, I love two-stroke. He's kind of lost on that engine, though, it still, isn't he? I kind of got bored with the whole, I'm going to build a cylinder, and fucking 8 months later, he's still freaking trying. I rather see him blow engines up on his homemade dyno table. I love his dyno table. It cracks me up. I love that fucking engine he turned, or that motor he turns on there. You know that engine that he got in his garage to do that? That thing weighs like 700 pounds. The coils on that engine, at least, and he got that in his garage. That amazes me. I can't put a 700-pound thing in my garage. I'm going to build a dyno. I could just see at my house. What are you doing, Brad? Building a dyno. What are you doing with that 700-pound motor? I'm going to turn a 700-pound motor to figure it out. Good time. Oh, who is he? He's from Norway or Switzerland? Or no, I mean, he's on YouTube. And he's the one that explained things to me like, I love his show on explaining resonance and how resonance works. Over his show, his most popular show was Mixing Fuel. He got like 90,000 subscribers or something like that, or views from it, for showing how to mix fuel. I don't have a fridge in my garage to store fuel, so. It was funny. Everybody got him into motorized bikes, though. I love that. He's sending parts all the time. You guys could send me parts all the time. I'd like that. Yeah, but I think it's funny when he drinks his coffee. He cracks me up. Or I'm all out of the. He loves whiskey and cigars. I'm all out of that, so I'm drinking coffee. Then that means that he's going to talk to you and actually try and teach you something. That's the part of his show I actually like. I keep telling him, get a fucking chalkboard. I'm like, get a chalkboard and fucking teach people. That's what I tell him. He needs a chalkboard really bad. But yeah, the 0.6 will help you hit all your timing marks. Breakfast. Just some muffler tape. Ooh, that's a bad one. We're gonna have to pull that. Trying to get the angle so you can see what I'm doing. Here, I'll remove the piston so you can see. One right there. Pokies. The pokies. Set of pokies, please. Try and dump the shavings out instead of in too. Now the piston don't go very far in at all, so I don't have to go super deep. I like the using the disc, but for this I like using the drum sanders. Drum. But for something simple like this, I'm just gonna use my negotiator. Do some negotiating. A light touch is better than a hard touch with a Dremel. Just kind of just cruise back and forth on it. Low speed. Starts to hang up a little bit. A couple drops of oil. The oil will also help clump it. The little pieces. Try not to get it into your chuck or your Dremel. Try now. Blow it out. Oh, no, didn't you see me? I just tried to stack it and it hit on the bottom. You know, I was taking a cylinder that was front facing. I ramjetted it to the front. I'm just trying to reverse it to the back. And it hit at bottom. So I got to trim a little bit off of the piston and smooth that out. I just need to take enough off so the piston won't hit. I think it's hitting on the back side though, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure. The chainsaw guy uses a rubber dam for dental dam to do that, and he foams it, which looks pretty cool, but I'm not that thorough. Exhaust to the front. It's the rough pin, smooth pin. Oh, that's the side that's already got the circlip in it. I'm just trying to make it so the piston doesn't hit at the bottom. That's all I'm trying to do. And usually on a case, when you don't widen it enough, that's what you're always doing. And you're like, damn, should I freaking cut it all out? Should I do this? Or split it again? And the more you split a case, the easier to get. It'll get real easy after you do it a bunch of times. And let's check bottom. Let's put one screw in it. Probably work it a little more, but try another screw. Screw and see if it's going to blah blah blah. Do it this side. See if I took enough off of it to not rub. I'll also work the skirt of the piston a little bit too. Nope, see, a little more. That's what I do though. That's my hobby. Can't really lose much on the piston because of the height of the exhaust being so large. Just round it. That is dry. Definitely still wool that shit.
See what you wrote there. I got to keep up. Actually, my first
Chandel, there's 49cc. Okay. There's not much difference in between a 49cc and a 66cc and a 69cc in the case. On a 49cc, they just short you the studs and put in the smaller studs usually. Your crank's going to be the same pretty much, and your case is pretty much going to be the same on a 49. And 49s are slow. Oh my God. Drive a Miss Daisy freaking gas bike there, buddy. In America, you got to have the bigger engines, or you're going to get your ass whooped by scooters. By a scooter. A scooter. Hell no. Okay, right now I'm setting at a 10 on the Dremel. Or 10. Let's go up to 12 or 15. Let's do 15. I like to hold it like that. I like a pencil. The faster you turn it, the lighter your touch. That's the front. I'm taking a little more off the front. Go to the back. This is a real pain to actually do a
a cylinder like this where you don't split the case. The first few I didn't split the case, and boy, it was a lot more work. But I learned a lot. Already up against the stud on that one, so I don't really go any wider on that side. Hold your breath. Take it apart, put it back together. Take it apart, put it back together. Take it apart. That's what you do. That's the hobby. Look for your pins if you can't see the arrow. I think it's that. I think it's my stud right there. Control stud. Drill. You're just trying to make it so you go up and down without hitting. Really easy to tell what hitting. Is it go tink? Aw, okay, Ivan. Thanks for joining the show, Ivan. Any questions? I'll hit you up. And anytime I go live and see you on the live Facebook, I'll tell you I'm live. I'll call it a show. That's an hour. That's one of my longer shows. But I kind of really did want to get the cylinder reversed like that. Because it drives too many people crazy when I put the intake to the front. What I don't like about putting the intake to the front is if your carburetor is going to sit lower than your cylinder, it's always going to leak when you're parked because it's just going to drain out and into the intake and then back through the carburetor and not even through the bowl. It's going to go straight through the carburetor intake. But thanks for joining me. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'll be on tomorrow. I'll try and hit a time where most of you guys are around. Seems like this time in the morning you guys are. Thanks for joining. Please subscribe. And thanks for that other thumbs up. Thanks, guys. I will see you guys around. Happy building. Save some questions for me. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Dread.